Hello, everyone. It's me, Cass, and
Kylie.
And we have on Brewster. How are you?
Hi, ladies. How you doing, ladies?
We're great. So, obviously, at this point, Brewster's kind of a fixture around Horrorcraft. We like Brewster coming on and giving us a different perspective. We have a lot of fun belly laughs with Brewster, too.
Oh,
So
on and off.
Yeah, on and off. I'm still traumatized to say Brian Thompson's name.
I didn't say it. I was going to say it earlier. I kept my mouth shut.
I just about spit out my line.
Yeah.
But I brought out Kylie's chill in her. So but no,
I use that for my kids.
Yeah, I know. But we actually, this episode is in celebration of Father's Day. This is coming out the Friday before Father's Day. And we are talking about a movie that I've really wanted to do for a while. And honestly, it kind of made sense to do it for Father's Day. I have floated out doing an episode about the stepfather for Father's Day. Maybe we'll save, the bad stuff for next year. But I know you're like, why? Why would you pick that?
Yeah, because I wanted to do Carrie for the Mother's Day episode, and you were like, she wasn't really like a mom.
She was great. I mean,
not Carrie, but Carrie's mom.
Yeah.
Carrie's mom was a slut, dude. That's why she was so fucked up.
Wait, what?
Carrie's mom was a slut. Seriously, it's always those ones like that who go like so farther Christian conservative who judge everybody else because they're ashamed of their own skeletons in their closet.
I mean, you're not wrong. Actually.
You're really
Look
not.
at Barbara Jane from Reba.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, totally. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Barbara Jane, dumbass. So I don't care.
It's so funny because I don't watch that until this time of year, because if you remember, Kylie, up until about a year ago when they finished those renovations on Shawnee, that was like one of 5 channels that would come in during Johnny and Friends that would play freaking Reba all the time. And so I would like fall asleep to watching Reba like set for freaking 4 days. So
my race are played in the past.
I know. I'm a survivor. And you just wake up and it'd be like randomly, I'm a survivor.
I saw I saw her in an episode of Last Man Standing. Does that count?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I just want to feel part of the conversation. That's all. Thank you.
You can. You are part of the conversation. So we this is a great movie. It is very simplistic at its core, but I think it's almost intentional at some points in time. So if you haven't seen Pumpkinhead is one of the few movies that I will say, especially the last couple of years, that have been widely available. Some of the other Pumpkinhead sequels are not. But Pumpkinhead, since I think it was like 2021 when they did the Scream Factory version, that's consistently been on like Tubi, Peacock. So right now, currently, as we are speaking, it is on Tubi. So if you want to watch it before getting into the rest of the episode with us, go ahead, pause this, go watch it, and come back. But we are going to get into talking about Father's Day, because as much as we're spooky moms, we got to show love to the spooky dads too. So we're going to go ahead and cue the music and get into it. So let's go ahead and cue that shit.
Welcome to the Horrorcraft Podcast.
And we are back. So Father's Day is a celebration of all the different father figures that we have in our lives, whether it's your father, your grandfather, your husband, significant other that stepped up for your child, uncles, spooky uncles, all the above, cat dads, the whole thing. So Brewster, you're perfect on this episode, being a cat dad to Mr. Bean. You're crazy. I will say this weekend my child said the funniest thing to Brewster, just off cuff.
Brayden's always off cuff.
He really is. But he's standing next to Brewster and we're at the Halloween market. And he was like, "Look, Mom, I'm a mini Brewster." Oh. And I was like, "What? What do you mean?" He was like, "Because of the hair, because my hair's fluffed up." And he was like, "We kind of matched." And I'm like, well, this is kind of like a reunion with your weird uncles because Tiki was there, Brewster.
Uncle Tiki.
Yeah, Uncle Tiki, Uncle Brewster, Uncle Zach. Like, there you go. That's what it is.
Uncle Brewster was hungover.
In true uncle fashion.
In true
really
uncle
fashion.
I will take the drunk uncle mantle. I'm proud to take that role off you.
That's fine. That's good. You live it for us, okay?
I got you covered. I got you.
So, yes. But I don't know about you guys, but when we were talking about like good memories, obviously I have better memories with certain members of my family than my actual father. I do love my dad, but we just don't have that same kind of father-daughter relationship. And it's not for lack of trying, I will say that. My dad just, if you grew up in the 90s, this might be part of your experience too, but when I was born, my dad was overseas. He was in Desert Storm, and I really didn't get like my whole first year of life with him. So him and I have always had a weird relationship, and childhood trauma is fun to joke about, but when you're actually living it, it's not the greatest. It does make you pretty funny, but it's not the greatest.
It's fucking hilarious.
It does. It does.
The gift my parents and their depths gave me was more dark humor.
I almost did send you something the other day. And I don't know why I'm saying this on camera, but somebody did make a shirt that is a Ouija board and it says, "I'm going to tell my dad about this." And it's the Ouija board. I'm sorry. I just knew you would appreciate that. So I've been like saving that. I just remember that right now.
It's such a, between me and my little sister, it's such a, like, she will send the most just fucked up, out of pocket, dead dad jokes that I'm just like, it's hilarious. It is.
Oh, you guys are making the dead dad jokes, and I get this when I call Carrie's mom a slut.
Well, like, what we say is like, you're in the dead dads club. Like, yeah. You get to say those jokes. Not everybody can. Like, yeah, it's a badge of honor.
Is there, because for those of you who haven't, we did a really incredible Mother's Day episode where we were very blessed to have Kylie's sister on, and we talked about long legs, and they talked about both of their parents. And so if you haven't listened to that, we'll link it down below. Please go listen to it. It's great. But I know like that definitely is a hard spot, but is there like a good memory that when you like think back to things, you're like, that's my dad?
Yeah, like my dad is kind of who got me into horror really big. I mean, it was always like Halloween was always really big in my house because Kate is born on Halloween.
Yeah.
My birthday is also in October, and so it was always kind of a big thing. But my dad loved scary movies, and once I started kind of getting into them, he showed me a lot of. I watched a lot of movies I shouldn't have been watching, but he didn't. He didn't give a shit. But Nightmare on Elm Street was a big one. He used to love scaring the shit out of me and my little sister. Like, we would be watching something scary, or it'd just be like evening time, and he would go outside and like bang on the window. One time he was wearing a fucking mask and scared the fuck out of me. And then one time he took us to see The Mist
Oh God.
in theaters. Yeah.
Talk about trauma.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
ending, dude. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Yeah. But I have a lot of good memories of my dad. I mean, definitely not a whole lot, but I mean, I really wish a lot of times he could see what I'm doing now, especially with the podcast and talking about horror movies, because he's a big reason why I love horror.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I totally can relate to that. So in a roundabout way, like, my grandfather has always been more my dad than my dad, just because of, like, when I was younger, I didn't have the same experience as my sister. So my parents, at one point in time did split up even, but also too, like, because I had health issues as a kid and my grandmother retired shortly after I was born. I always kind of chilled with my grandparents. So, like, was, let's go get ice cream. I'm going to teach you how to ride a bike. I would say that their house had the swimming pool in it when really it was a jetted jacuzzi tub that I just liked. Like, it was in their guest bedroom, and that was like my bedroom. And that was like a big thing. But like, my grandfather is also a big reason. I like action movies and horror, but really the biggest one of them all is Law and Order. And the reason I'm even like into the field that I'm in, my grandfather plopped me in front of the TV, and Sam Waterston, his eyebrows, justice hung on those, strong, pronounced eyebrows. And we would just sit and lock into, him bringing down the hammer and getting justice for the people. And he was one of the first people that when I had like talked originally about trying to become an attorney or doing something in the legal field, he was like, yeah, you could do that. You're smart. And really pushed me for it. So thank you to Law and Order and Sam Waterston for, encouraging me to go all the way. If only I could send you my $60,000, tuition reimbursement, that would be great. But, I had but also too, my great grandfather, he's very much like Lance Henriksen's character in this movie. Like, he wasn't the greatest dad, but he was a great dad, great grandfather to me. And very much was that kind of like rough and tumble character, but had like a heart of gold in it. So like, this is something that is kind of like deeply personal, but I did have something recently that came up where I found out that they had left me some things, and it was an envelope that had been left for me for years, and my mother had held on to it and had some documents in there and some things that I didn't know about. But one of the biggest things is they left notes and little pieces of money. And like, my grandfather wrote little notes of like, I found this penny outside of the factory the day that I retired from GM. I found this dime outside the car wash the day you drove the vehicle, the Cadillac, in the cemetery. Like, just different things. My grandfather really just like wanted me to know that I was special to him. And so seeing that obviously was very emotional. And they left the most important things, which was the Elvis coin, you know. it's safe. Yeah, it's safe with me. It will forever, it's priceless. It will forever be cherished with me. But I have really good memories with them, and it does kind of help me relate to this because when my grandfather was around Lance Henriksen's age, before he got into the auto factory, he was a coal miner. He was working in the mines, in the deep South, and he was a very rough and tumble person, and that kind of would make him seem a certain type of way. And he was that kind of person, to be completely fair. I have a different experience than, say, my actual grandmother, who is his daughter, where he was not a good person to her. But I think that was also because at the time, wasn't exactly the most conducive environment to be a good dad for. So, but Brewster, what about you? Do you have any good memories of your dad?
Yeah, I mean, I feel kind of bad talking about, good memories I have with my dad after you guys' stories.
No.
No, anyone who knows me and has seen the show Supernatural, it's a very John and Dean Winchester kind of relationship, and he's not why I got into horror. I've always just been the black sheep of the family as far as that's concerned. But when I can mention you, Castor, when Tapes did the Parents of Horror, and I mentioned that scene in Monster Squad when Sean's dad sits on the roof with them with the Burger King watching the movie in the drive-in with binoculars. That was kind of my dad. Like, he wouldn't want to sit through some of these, but he'd be like, what are we watching this time, And to this day, we'll still get together. I mean, I have my schedule like it is now, but we still get together on occasion and have a movie night and just go over there and watch something new or something I grew up watching 10,000 times,
Oh, I love that. So that makes me happy. But no, I get that. And actually, it is kind of funny then, because I feel like Kylie and I, for as much as like we've obviously gone through our relationships with our own parents and different things in our lives, we ended up with two pretty fantastic people being the parents to our children. Like, I definitely Uno reversed that shit. Yeah. Definitely. So, I mean, like, that has been a very healing thing, I would say, for me, is watching Jim parent our child, because he's the parent that I would have wanted to have growing up.
I lot with Dakota sometimes. I see it's stupid that women find men who are like their dads, but I see so many good parts that Dakota has that are the really good parts of my dad.
Yeah, I see a few like good things that I could maybe say for my dad. Like, the cat dad thing is one of the biggest things. Like, my dad has always been that kind of like, we're choosing animals over people. But I would say definitely more my grandfather. Like, I will tell you, my grandfather and Jim are like a cop buddy drama waiting to happen. Like, they are the like super true, like it's him and my grandfather. Like, I mean, we're talking about Jim, like, he goes to my grandparents at least once or twice a week to help out and different things. Because obviously my grandfather, he's in his 80s. My grandmother's in her, we're not talking about Wilma's age. I'm not going to even say that on camera because Wilma will Judy chop me.
I will tell her to.
Yeah, she will. She will.
I'm going to hold Wilma, but I'll ask Jim.
Yeah, I know you will, but Jim and my grandfather like go out and do things. They'll go have lunch. He'll take them out shopping. They've even talked about going to the gym together. But like, he's legitimately like besties with my grandparents and will go and do things with him. And so when people are like, what is Jim doing? I'm like, he may not answer the phone, but I know where he's at. I could call my grandmother and my grandmother will answer the phone and he's right next to her like during the day. I mean, it's just so funny. And then it's super funny when it's Jim, Braden, and my grandfather, because then it's like all three of them are very similar. So it's just like a very different experience. But it's just, and obviously I'm very open about this, but Jim is not Braden's biological father, but he is his dad for all intents of, he is his dad. So, but he's just such a good impatient. He's not perfect, but it's just like being a kid growing up myself with problems, especially like ADHD and the issues that I faced. Watching him parent our child who goes through the struggles he does with autism is just very healing in a sense, because there's a grace that he gives Brayden and a love that he gives Brayden that I don't think I ever felt from my own dad. And it is just kind of healing in a way. So, but shout out to Jim and Dakota for being spooky dads. And Kylie and I will actually be together for Father's Day. So this will be the second year where we've been able to celebrate Father's Day together. And it's a pretty great time, especially when Jim and Dakota go off and do their guy stuff. And Kylie and I will just like do whatever. I think last year we actually, on Father's Day, we shot your maternity, your baby announcement. We did. And now baby Brayden is here. So that'll be super fun. But so the whole reason we're really talking about this is fatherhood is the backbone for this movie and is a big motivation behind why what happens does. But this movie obviously has a very deep, like, folklore type of backbone to it as well. But those of you who haven't seen it in the most basic sense, Lance Henriksen plays a father who they never really specifically say, but something did happen to his wife. He's a single dad, and he is taking care of his child on his own. It's a very rough and tumble rural area that he lives in. He is a shop owner, and there are some crazy teens that come into town. And unfortunately, there is an accident that happens with his child. And in a fit of rage, decides to invoke a creature called Pumpkinhead, who has the ability to get justice for people who have been wronged. And through this movie, kind of finds him struggling with what's meant to, like, what should happen and what shouldn't happen. So that's very basic, like, explanation of it. Brewster, what did you say that Pumpkinhead looks like?
Oh, they look like those killer pizzas from the old school Ninja Turtle cartoons. There was like an episode about these little eggs or meatballs that were put in the pizza. And when they went in the microwave, they turned these little pumpkin heads. And it's what it looks like. Google it.
Google it.
Or I mean, you look like the father of Sam from Trick or Treat. I mean,
yes.
That one better.
Yes.
Yes.
I think you know where Sam got his inspiration at this point now, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, definitely. I said he
I'm
looked.
I'm curious to know if there was any sort of inspiration for Trick or Treat from Pumpkinhead.
I don't know. I mean, probably the design of Sam. I mean,
probably because Michael Dory that did Trick or Treat, remember, he also did Krampus, and I know for both movies he heavily took inspiration from different types of characters and different things like that.
I love those movies.
I love anyone who talks shit about Trick or Treat or Krampus.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I'll try to overlook it, but I don't know if we can be friends.
You can overlook it. I'm not.
I know there's a deleted scene on Krampus where the kid opens a box and in there is one of Sam's suckers. So it's like a whole, are they the same universe type of thing?
If you ever get a chance, I don't know if you've seen it, Brewster. I own it, but I have the Krampus naughty cut.
I don't have the naughty cut. No, I have the original.
Yeah, and that is pretty fucking wild.
Yeah,
I will tell you that right now.
Is it worth it?
Oh, it's incredible. Yeah, it's incredible. And for me too, it's nostalgic because I preached about this time and time again. But like, people are like, I don't understand why this is such a big deal. As someone who grew up with a great grandmother that was German, she was telling me about Krampus at 5 years old, like literally, like was intimidating me to be good, saying that this person was going to take me away. And it's scary. Like, you find out that there's an alternate version of Santa that's going to come and steal your soul and give it to the devil. And you're like, what do you mean? Like, so people just, I feel like they shit on that movie, and especially the fact that he did it and he did Trick or Treat, and they are very similar in style. It just like, and the fucking toys, let's be honest, that my favorite one, and I think I have Krampus actual like the like stickers that go on the walls. I have some of those. But I actually have the one toy that the one that freaked me out, which is like the Jack in the Box one that's a clown that
it sucks up the kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is freaky, but Trick or Treat also too, like,
oh, they're holiday staples for me.
They're incredible.
Yeah.
They're incredible. I love them, and I think there's something that needs to be. But I also feel like you kind of feel that way too, coming back to this movie, because it is you do see a lot of people going into different like urban legend type, and we're seeing more of that obviously now. But this is an urban legend because we see that throughout this whole movie, like the hush hush of it all, like, oh, we can't talk about that. You don't want to go down that route. And it's very like in that kind of whole like idea of there are certain things that you don't like, doors you don't want to open. And I think we all, I don't know about you, but like me growing up in a smaller town, we do have some urban legends like that where people are like, yeah, you don't want to go do that. You don't want to go there. Like, different things like that. I know for us, like Gore Orphanage is not that far, and that the whole idea of that, like the orphanage burned down, the children's souls are there. If you go close to it, you put like baby powder on the car, the footprints go across, the like handprints and stuff go across the car, and it's like a whole thing, I just talked the other day about incarceration. That's at Mansfield Reformatory. And there are different stories about different things that have happened. Obviously, there are many like ghost adventures and different episodes that have been done there. But we all kind of have places like that. And so it's the whole idea of like there being a figure for all of your rage. There being like that justice scale of like, you could go open this door and this thing will take, right the wrong for you. And the cost of that, because that's really kind of what comes down into it in this movie. Pumpkinhead, obviously, too, is just it. I love Pumpkinhead. I love his design. I love the way he looks and how clunky he is, because he's not something he comes up on you fast, but he is also, when he enters the frame, he's not something you can miss. Like, this is a tall fucking creature. So I would be very interested to hear your guys' thoughts. But what do you guys think about the kids, the teenagers?
They're your standard country fucking drinking kids. I mean, that's what they are. They don't know what other people look like because the town is clearly inbred. And there's about like 8 or 10 of them, and then they just kind of
No, we're talking about the teenagers that come and cause all of this.
Oh, fuck them too. Because the one guy, he was the main guy who was responsible for this shit. He
had done it before.
He'd done it before, yeah. So he was your typical 80s douchebag. Yeah, fuck those kids. The one girl was okay. I think she was trying to do the right thing, and one just kind of got stuck in a peer pressure. But yeah, the main guy, he couldn't have gotten killed fast enough.
Yeah.
Who the guy reminded me of? That Murdaugh boy.
Alex Murdaugh's son.
That, he killed or whatever, but yeah, just having money and being able to get away with certain shit, having no regard for shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, like they
Well,
fucking
and
deserved it.
and the whole thing is, and part of this, if he hadn't had freaked out and stopped them from getting help and literally locking like those couple people in the closet and stuff, there might have been a chance that the son survived. But he just didn't even want to take that chance. And it just like in a way he almost is upset that when the one guy tells him, yeah, the dad showed up, he took his son, he's like, well, he, almost like this in righteous anger of like, oh, well, it was just an accident and stuff like that. And it's like, yeah, but you ran his son over. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, for me as a parent, and you do something like that to my kid, Pumpkinhead is going to be the least of your worries. I'm just saying that on camera right now. That is not a threat. That is a promise.
Yeah, that's just, I guess, the metaphor, personification, whatever, about how people just, it's someone else's fault or it's not that big of a deal.
Yep.
They don't have to fucking deal with it. I can't stand that shit.
Yeah, I just, for me, it's the obvious, like when something happens with your kid, you instantly want to go into defense mode. And this movie does definitely have a conversation on when is the right time for forgiveness and when is the right time for that. And it is just such a deeply profound, like, topic of like talking about like the idea of really getting what you want, but it not being almost like the Wishmaster quality, I would say, obviously like Wishmaster being a really good movie, but I love, but in Wishmaster, the big part of that is be careful what you wish for, because you might think that you're getting exactly what you want, but it could come with a terrifying cost and you never know what that cost is. And this is kind of the same way. He thinks that he wants this. He thinks that he wants to do this, but then when he has to live with the cost of it, it's not necessarily something at the end of the day that he felt like was worth it.
It just shows, because I just love him as a dad, but it just shows not only the kind of dad he is, but the kind of person he is.
Yeah.
I mean, I've not lost a child, but I know people who have, and I know people who have lost them in horrific ways like that. And who wouldn't want revenge or justice on someone killing your baby?
Yeah, because think about it. People, you and I were talking about this today because obviously we have one of the movies from the franchise coming up, but look about how they talk about it in The Purge Anarchy. Frank Grillo's character, his son gets killed by a drunk driver, gets off of it, and he decides, okay, well, the purge is legalized murder. I'm going to go kill this guy because he took away my son. And through the whole thing, he ends up saving somebody else's child, and kind of through that realizes this might not be, and ultimately like decides not to, and then it's that person that ends up saving him as well. So it's just like the idea of, even though that seems like the thing that you should do, because how horrible and just utterly gut-wrenching to see him, especially when his child does die and he's holding his child and he's carrying him at different times and he's talking to him and stuff. It is but it's the cost of it all. And how that really plays out. So there are some wild characters in there too. So I don't know. I just love it. It's a comfort movie for me, obviously. And I like in my mind, Lance Henriksen was my dad. Lance Henriksen was my dad and Elvira was my mom in my mind. They were the ones that like raised me. So,
well, going back to your point there, I guess the opposite effect of what you're talking about with Frank Grillo and the Purge, Purge 2 and 3, would be Jeff Reinhardt in Saw 3, because he went through the same thing and did not learn any kind of lesson.
Yeah, he did not. And I mean, listen, throwing Saw in there. You had the latest entry of Saw where it was Saw 10, and a big part of that was obviously, Kramer is the character. He gets duped and he decides to go after the people that say that the claim that they cure him and they don't, and he goes after them. But part of that too is they then put him in a position where he has to, it's either his life or this kid who kind of is caught in this, and he makes that decision. So it is kind of that, like, I'm not saying in those type of situations, like, listen, you fucked around with a serial killer and you found out in that movie, and I had literal to no sympathy with a lot of those characters in that movie. But for somebody that's set up through that whole movie as being the villain, you really see at the end he's not the villain. And that's kind of the same thing with Lance Henriksen's character is, when they find out that he's the one that like cursed them, they're obviously not thrilled about it. And he's like, if I could stop this, I would, but I'm just going to kill him. And it's kind of him taking ownership of the fact of, yeah, you killed my kid though. You killed my kid. You got me in a moment at my weakest fucking moment. Now I'm trying to move forward with it. And the fact that he gives up his own life at the end of this movie to do so obviously speaks volumes, because to him, he felt like that was the only solution. And it does end up being the only solution for that. But it is something
that goes back to In Dreams when she dies at the end, like she chooses because her daughter is like, she sees her daughter and under the water, and she says, "Come home," and like her husband's dead, her daughter's dead, like,
yeah. And the only reason
you got to live for.
Yeah, the only reason she stuck around was to save that little girl, and because she didn't want that little girl going down like her daughter did. And that really does show, which honestly, if you haven't listened to the episode that we did about In Dreams, but honestly, if you haven't watched In Dreams, what are you doing? Go do it.
No, it's one of Robert Downey Jr.'s finest.
Yeah. We love that movie. But Frank Grillo's character too, I feel like in The Purge, that's definitely a big, like, you see that then in the third movie, because that's one of the reasons why he gets hooked up with the presidential candidate the way that he does. And that's a big reason why he kind of is able to talk people off the ledge, is like, hey, you might want to give into this at the moment, but it's not going to be what you want it to be. And it really does kind of fight behind that idea. For us too, sneak preview, but we are going to do the Forever Purge coming up. And the Forever Purge has two very strong men in it. And you have a man who's about to become a father that's kind of questioning a lot of his life choices and gets stuck in the middle of a situation he doesn't really profoundly understand. And there are some deep conversations that happen in that movie, especially related to fatherhood and the way that we try to mantle everything in preparation for parenthood. That is just a very unique conversation. So I don't know. I feel like watch this movie, whether you love it, you hate it, watch it with the people you love, gather them around, give your dad a hug while you're watching it. I don't know. Enjoy the movie. I enjoy it for what it is. And I do think it's just one of those lightning in a bottle movies, because if you would tell somebody now, hey, I'm going to make a movie about like a 12-foot demon type character that's going to like kill a bunch of kids, but really it's killing kids because of this dude. And then there's like a crazy witch lady that brings them apart. And the whole reason is because of like this, like, I don't think you'd be able to make that now.
Well, no, they just make the pumpkin thing shorter and call it trick or treat.
Valid.
Okay, valid. You didn't have to like have some facts.
And I just lost my invite to future shows, right?
You didn't lose your invite to future shows. So is there anything else that you guys want to talk about before we get into the facts? Is there anything about the movie that you would like to well actually I know something. What's your favorite scene in this movie?
I think when the Pumpkinhead is chasing through that dilapidated house. It's like a church or something. It's got like no
Yes.
roof or less roof. That was the first scene I saw as a kid. I hadn't seen the movie all the way through. I was just kind of flipping through channels, and that part came across, and of course I was told to turn it off. So when I see it now, when I rewatched it over in recent years, that's what I think about as being a kid and seeing that scene. And what the fuck is this? You know?
Yeah. For me, the first time that when she actually like has him bring the body and like she summons Pumpkinhead and Pumpkinhead comes out and everything, that to me is a fucking wild scene. Like, it's just one of those scenes where you're just like, what the fuck did this guy do? Like, I think you're cooked, bro. Like, as Kylie would say, I think you're cooked. So, like, it's crazy to me. Kylie, what about you?
I'd have to say when he realizes it's not what he wants anymore. He doesn't want revenge and justice anymore.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good one. So some of the facts about this film. This is the directorial debut of Stan Winston. For those of you who don't know, Stan Winston, I mean, he did a lot of fucking things. But mainly before this, like he did a lot of effects work. And so it's no surprise that he made this movie into what it was. So for those of you who don't know, he was uncredited, but he did do makeup effects on The Thing. Friday the 13th Part 3, Chiller, Edward Scissorhands, Terminator 2, Interview with a Vampire he went on and did, Pearl Harbor, Constantine, Terminator, Dark Fate. Like, he did a lot of makeup and different related really things. For those of you who Brewster had talked about the Monster Squad, he did some of the monster designs in the Monster Squad. He also did the creature design in Leviathan and the creature creation for Predator 2. He also is responsible for creating a lot of the gnarlier dinosaurs in Jurassic Park Lost World. Yeah, he did a lot. Just a really all-around cool person. Besides Pumpkinhead, he only did this was only his really like big movie that he did. He did do some like shorter things. He actually directed a Michael Jackson video.
Which one?
Ghosts.
Oh, that was like one of those short films, like half hour long or something.
And he did Guns N' Roses, You Could Be Mine.
Nice.
So he also did for Terminator 2, the game that they did, the Battle Across Time. He did some of the 3D work.
Oh, for the Universal Studios, right?
Yep.
The T1 million.
Yep, he did. So it is incredible. Well, I mean, listen, you do so many cool things. You know, every now and again, you just got to pop out and do, talk your shit. So he did one solid, great movie, and he's like, I'm going to go back to doing the other stuff.
Right.
So I think that that's great. So the origin of the story was actually a poem written by Ed Justin. This film was orphaned by the bankruptcy of De Laurentiis Entertainment Group and eventually garnered a spotty release when acquired by United Artists, which actually tested the film under an alternative title, which is called Vengeance the Demon. That is why in some of the European releases, you will see that as the title on like VHS and stuff like that. So that is probably why it's so widely available, because a lot of the United Artists films that kind of got picked up from bankrupt companies at the time, you'll notice a lot of them, at least I've noticed, they are on Tubi and more widely available because they're not under such crazy rights stuff as like say Friday the 13th and everything like that. So the screenwriters were inspired by the horror movies of Mario Bava, which obviously Mario Bava is one of the greats of giallo horror.
Demons and Demons 2, right?
Yep.
Those are so great.
I would not expect anything less from the head of Brewster Vision. And Brewster Trivia. Two of Stan Winston's children can be seen as members of the Wallace clan, which are the kids that pile out of the car. So Mayim Bialik, that is in The Big Bang Theory, she's the one that Sheldon marries.
Amy?
Yeah.
Amy. This is the film debut of her.
Holy shit. Hey, she
Really?
did that for Awesome. Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, she's one of the kids.
Kylie's about to call shenanigans on you, Cass.
She is.
That's pretty fucking cool. I was watching something today on Facebook. She's a doctor.
Yeah, she's a smart ass lady. Okay, you better throw some respect on her name. She's got some doctorates and everything. So that's a lot of fucking schooling. The witch, the witch, whose name is Haggis. Her costume weighed 65 pounds.
Oh, that poor woman.
So the cabin where Steve and the others go is the same one used as the Jarvis house in Friday the 13th, the final chapter. So that is very interesting. Stan Winston Studios provided additional Pumpkinhead suits for stunt sequences as well as dead bodies and makeup. Winston's savvy regarding creature work enabled him to make the most of his very small creature effects budget, which was just a fraction of the film's overall budget of $3 million. It's funny because we never had a sense of being constrained by the budget on that show. And that was because Stan knew what to spend the money on and how to get the most out of everything we built. That's pretty fucking cool. Stan Winston and the filmmakers strongly clarified that they did not indeed want a creature with a literal pumpkin on his head. That is why it is shapen and stuff the way that it is.
Well, if you did it that way, you've got a ripoff of Jack from Return to Oz and the Legend of Sleepy Hollow.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. This is one of Lance Henriksen's first leading roles in this movie. Up until then, he was just ensemble cast. Most of us know him from Near Dark and Aliens 3. And also, I'm going to throw this beef out there, okay? But I need everyone to stop fucking slandering Alien versus Predator, okay? We can't be out here acting like that.
We were talking about that last episode.
You're still, let it go. That happened in the past.
No, but I'm just
this week,
I'm just saying, like, The fact that they got Lance Henriksen to come back for Alien versus Predator as well, and he had such a significant role, like, we need to throw some respect on that. So please, let's do that.
No, I'm with you. I did enjoy that one. I saw it like right when it came out on DVD, but I don't remember much. But I enjoyed it. I never saw Requiem. I don't know if that was any good.
So I had never seen an Alien movie in theaters until Alien versus Predator.
Yeah.
And I love that. The only one I didn't see in theaters recently was Alien Romulus, but I just wanted to enjoy it. That was the whole reason.
Yeah.
So I feel like I didn't really miss anything too much with that, but so there are a lot of just different facts. I'm trying to look and see if there's anything else that is significant to this. Underground hip hop artist Pumpkinhead takes his alias from the title of the film.
No.
I didn't know that there's an artist called Pumpkinhead. Yeah, there's just a lot. There's a lot of different things about the cars in this film, and a lot of just different schematics of things. We're not going to really get into it, but Pumpkinhead has since become a classic, obviously, since its release. Amongst his fans is novelist Anne Rice, and many of the Stan Winston studio crew members that worked on the show. When I revisited Pumpkinhead after all these years and I realized that it was done in 1987, all in camera for only $3 million, I'm amazed at how much movie is there. So for those of you who don't know, Anne Rice, Interview with the Vampire, Stan Winston after this went on to do the creature effects for Anne Rice, Interview with the Vampire, and it was said that the reason Stan Winston got the job was because of the fact that Anne Rice was a fan of Pumpkinhead, and wanted him to do it. That was one of her stipulations in her contract. So we will link all the facts down below if you want to go look. But yeah, the fact that this is made on $3 million too, by the way, and has a full like costume and suit like this and all the effects that it does is kind of wild if you really think about it.
It's definitely dated. I mean, the monster looks dated, but it still holds up, you know?
Yeah. The thing is I don't think they didn't try for it to not be dated. I think it's supposed to look like that. You know what I mean? Because it is supposed to be like that gnarly kind of like gritty, almost like it's not supposed to be a sleek monster. It's not supposed to be a sleek movie. It's just supposed to be like kind of that like it's kind of almost like urban legend before urban legend, if you know what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that kind of whole idea of like opening Pandora's box, but it's more or less like, you know, kind of the backwoods version of it. It's kind of like Wrong Turn before Wrong Turn was a thing. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, which fun fact, if you haven't caught this on episodes prior, Wrong Turn, both the original and the latest one, was filmed in Mohican in Ohio.
I thought the last one was in Hocking Hills, or is that?
Oh yeah, it is. It is Hocking Hills. It is the original and the older one. Which one? There's another horror film that was done in Mohican. I'm gonna find that and fact check myself.
Yeah, I want to check that shit. That's closer than Hocking Hills.
Yeah, there was a horror film. I forget because it kind of surprised me too. I'm gonna look this up. I'm gonna fact check myself. Okay. So hold me to it in the future cast.
I'm gonna message you every hour on the hour.
And Brewster will do that. So, but what are you guys' final thoughts about this movie?
I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
I did.
You what? I talked over you. I'm sorry, I didn't hear what you said.
I just said I enjoyed it.
Oh,
You can watch it if you're bored one day, exploring through different genres and eras of horror, you gotta watch Pumpkinhead.
It is a cult classic to me. I never saw there's 4 of them, I think. I never saw 2 through 4, which I probably should.
You should.
Just because it's me.
They're definitely different, and I do.
They're all on Tubi.
Yeah, well, they're all not on Tubi. I think 3 and 4 are on Tubi. 2 is a hard one to find.
I heard 2 is horrendous.
2 is kind of crazy.
But you're like you said, stellar performance by Lance Henriksen alone is worth the watch. He's definitely underrated. Like I don't think people mention him a lot. He's really in a lot of these like top movies from back growing up, and he was even in Scream 3.
Yeah, he was.
Man's best friend. I mean, he's in a lot of these movies, Hellraiser 8, but like he's not listed along with the greats that people always talk about on social media, you know?
Yeah.
It's truly a travesty because even just going back to his most popular, which probably is Aliens, let's face it, the fact that his character goes toe to toe with Ripley and different things and ends up winning her over given her position like with the first movie, and how like just deep of a bond they kind of form within that movie and how organic that pops up is insane. But then if you've never seen him in Near Dark is just insane.
I gotta check that movie again. I own it. I haven't watched it in years though.
Oh, it's incredible. And to me, like everyone's performance is just so great. But him is like the leader of that whole entire group. And then you have Bill Paxton as kind of the unhinged, like killer vampire. And I'm trying to think of her name. She's also from Aliens that plays like his wife almost.
Oh, yeah.
She's incredible as well.
The stepmom the foster mom in Terminator 2.
Yeah, and she's also what's her face and Aliens with them, like they're just stellar performances. They don't get talked about, but Lance Henriksen too, like he just kind of drips. And it's the same way I feel about Bill Paxton. People will talk about certain Bill Paxton roles and put them like high up there, but they completely forget about his other roles and a lot of roles that I feel like
it's game over, man.
Like they just don't like talk about it as much as they should. Like, yes, he's great in Twister, and obviously that's a great movie. But like he did so many incredible roles. I feel like people just don't give him enough credit for that.
Well, they forget about Frailty as well. That movie.
Frailty is
really good. I was just thinking that.
Incredible. It's kind of like for me when somebody tells me they've never watched Volcano with Tommy Lee Jones. And it's like for Kylie did, like when we talked about it, Kylie was like, I think I've seen it, maybe, but
I suggested doing that movie. What are you talking about?
No, we both suggested it. What are we talking about? So who are we talking to that hadn't seen it? And I was like, that is a crime against humanity. I'm really going to have to think about that. But I know for me, like when Jim and I first started dating and he said he had seen Volcano, I was like, instantly, this is going to work out because you associate Tommy Lee Jones with Volcano and not something else. And I love you for that. So if you love Volcano or The Client, you're instantly 100% like throw it up on my list.
Well, it's funny you mentioned it because I just thought of this. I didn't make this connection earlier, but both Lance Henriksen and Bill Paxton, act side by side together in Near Dark, and both of them are in Terminator, the first Terminator.
Yes, they are.
But only Brian Thompson is in the Terminator.
I'm never escaping it. I'm never.
No.
Have you seen Brian Thompson lately, though? I love him. But, like,
let's move on. Let's move on.
All right. Wait. Full disclosure, so that the audience knows here. With it, we had a group chat going whenever I'm going to be on the show to kind of like sum up and plan everything out or whatever. And since the last show, which was 2 nights ago, me and Kylie have been razzing Kaz relentlessly about her wide on for Brian Thompson.
Yeah, relentlessly, which is insane because if you could say anything about anybody right now, it probably would be Pedro Pascal. And I feel like that's most people, but like I just think it's hard to find somebody who's a good human being that actually says that they are and is a good human being. So, but yeah, Brian Thompson back in the day. He definitely was something I was interested in. So
what do you say? You see Kylie just rip the headphones off and walk away.
Kylie's like,
done.
Kylie's like, I thought we got done with freaking Gerard Butler, and I finally came to peace with that. Now we got fucking Brian Thompson.
Now we got Brian fucking Thompson.
So yeah, but you guys are ridiculous.
But we're laughing. That's what's important.
Yeah, I wouldn't have it any other way. So, really quickly before we go into our favorite thing in horror this week, what is a good Father's Day movie that you would recommend to somebody, or something like a good? It doesn't even have to be something associated with fatherhood, but just something like it's a movie that has like a dad in it or like a father figure character that you feel like people don't talk about enough.
I actually had a suggestion.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. It's fine. I'm sorry.
A movie called The Hangman came out in 2014. It's pretty good. It's about a troubled father. Leon takes son camping in Appalachia. Local cult summons evil hangman demon. It's pretty good. It's funny-ish. I really enjoy it.
Kylie keeps suggesting it, and I'm a little scared to actually watch it.
Why?
Just because I feel like the premise might do me under. So
you can deal with it. It'll be fine.
Do you actually think?
I know.
You know. Okay. I like the confidence in me. So
if you survive the substance, that's not it.
We'll talk. Brewster, what about you?
The one I suggested has controversy tied to the director of said movie, so I don't know how well that will go over. But I'll fall back on the Monster Squad again if we're going with fathers in there, because the guy he was a good, he had trouble in his marriage that they were working out and stuff, but all around he was a decent guy, and at the end he stepped up and joined in the fight with his kids against all the Universal monsters.
Yeah, the mom and the dad in Monster Squad don't nearly get enough credit as they should. Like, those parents are like, really, as soon as things go down, they're like, you guys can catch these hands. Like, yeah. Like, we might not be on the same page, but we're about to fuck shit up.
Most parents feel like, I don't believe you, you're crazy, until some bad shit goes down. Like, oh, you're right.
You were right. Things happen. Yeah, I don't know. I just love Monster Squad, and
it holds up so well.
Oh, and the actor who plays the dad is Gabriel Mock's father, and for those of you who don't know, that is Harvey from Suits.
I never watched Suits, so yay, Harvey.
Yeah. Well, I like Suits, but he was also he played the Spirit in the movie The Spirit with like Samuel L. Jackson, the comic book movie.
Is that Sin City spinoff or some shit?
Yeah, it's kind of like in the same vein of it.
Yeah.
So for me, non-horror, well, kind of horror, but non-horror. I feel like the dad in Fear, doesn't get talked about a lot.
Oh,
You know,
good one.
Fear with
Yeah.
Mark Wahlberg.
Wahlberg.
Yeah, because like his daughter is not very clearly seeing things, and he is just
off a rip.
yeah, he sees them off rip, and he's like, throughout the whole entire thing, he's just like, hey, I love you. I'm trying to save you. And really just tries to like step up and be the best dad he could be. That's very challenging. So one horror wise, I don't think gets talked about a lot. Is the possession, and oh my gosh, he's in The Walking Dead. He plays Sam and Dean's dad.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan.
Jeffrey D. Morgan is the dad, and I saw that.
Oh yeah, she's shoving the pancakes in her mouth.
Yep.
Yeah,
Where it's the Dibbit. It's the movie about the Dibbit box kind of thing.
Yeah.
And so I feel like that doesn't get enough credit, because that dad fully, like, as soon as things go south, he's like, this is my kid. Like, I need something to happen. Like, he is fully like, I need to figure this out. But I remember watching it while I was pregnant. And mind you, there were 2 movies that came out the year that I was pregnant with Braden that were both horror movies and themed parenting around it. Sinister was one of them. I watched Sinister while I was pregnant, and that was fucking terrifying. I literally looked down at my stomach and I said, if you come out and kill me, bro, we're gonna have a problem. I remember just being terrified. But I remember watching The Possession, and just the way that this like dad really just tried to step up and be there for his child as much as he could, even when nobody believed him. And it was like, man, this is really heartwarming. A really fucked up suggestion of fatherhood would be Dr. Giggles. Because if you remember correctly, in Dr. Giggles, his dad is literally killing people to try to bring back his mom. And like, I don't know, but like, he still was a good dad. Like, and as much as you want to hate Dr. Giggles, like, Dr. Giggles is just trying to help people. He's not the greatest at it, but you know, he's trying to help her, you know, fix her heart. So that's all you can ask for. It really is. So, but yeah, I think those are, oh gosh, Drive Angry with Nicolas Cage.
I got that on Fandango at home. It was Fandango's anniversary or some shit. And it was 25 Nicolas Cage movies for $25. I couldn't say no to that. So that's on there. I just haven't had a chance to watch it yet because Nicolas Cage is the GOAT, so I will be watching it.
Yeah, Drive Angry, I love. Honestly, that was the movie that kind of did make me like Amber Heard for a minute, just because. Yeah, he just because of how badass that movie is. But for those of you who don't know, basically Nicolas Cage's character, he gets thrown into hell. Because he's a brutal felon, and he ends up escaping from hell after this cult murders his daughter and her baby. And so he breaks out of hell in order to, the cult murders his daughter, but his granddaughter, her baby is still out there, and he breaks out of hell to not only get revenge for his daughter, but to save the child. And it's this very like, this is going to be a spicy take. The Ghost Rider movies are all right? Listen, Nicolas Cage did what he did, but this is my Ghost Rider. Like, him in Drive Angry is just like a whole other level of just like, this is what I want to see from him if he's doing something like Ghost Rider. Like, he's just like, give no fucks. Like, just very is what it is. Nicolas Cage, balls to the wall. And I think it's incredible. So Definitely go check those out. We'll link all of those down in the description below. Kylene, what is on your mind in horror this week? Now, mind you, I'm the only one who is allowed to call Kylie Kylene. That's just my nickname for her.
I did see Pete Davidson posted that he has a horror movie coming out next month called The House. I haven't looked at the trailer yet, but anything
I just heard about that. Yeah,
I am there.
I saw the movie that Brewster was talking about last episode, the Garden of Eden one. I did.
He sent me the trailer for that, and I want to see that.
I'm a little terrified to see that. So,
it's so good.
Brewster, what about you?
Actually, Rick messaged me before this thing, before we started our chat here. I guess on June 12th, the day before Friday the 13th, there is some kind of Friday the 13th thing going on down in Akron. We're going to go and try and check out, apparently. What's he got here? Rick can't spell on it sometimes. Maybe he should just go back to using the voice messages. Yeah, love you, Rick. He Hotel of Horror or something like that. It's on I don't know. He went dyslexic here because he said it's on the 12th and he said I think it's called on June 21. So that's my my dyslexic.
Maybe he was excited and in a rush to text you and tell you that.
Okay, that's fine.
Rick, I did not throw the bullet. I did not throw the bullet.
I'm going to message him and tell him this afterwards just so he knows that he won't. It's Rick. He knows me.
Rick's going to laugh listening to this, by the way.
I'm not talking trash. It's, but it's funny, though, because in our Talkin Tapes group chat, Rick always gets irritated with me, Tiki, and Cass leaving the voice messages. He's like, I like to just read it on my own pace and type back. It's like, well, Rick, clearly you can't type right now.
I know, bro. Cass loves her voice notes, and so
I'm aware.
I'm like, bro.
Cass's voice notes are a podcast of their own.
They are.
But the thing is I just can't explain things short. It's the ADHD in me, and honestly,
talk text.
I can't even do that because half the time
I think that's what Rick Problems was.
I was about to say it says some fucked up shit, and listen, sometimes I just don't have time for that. So I'm like, I'll send you a voice note, and while I'm doing that, I'm doing 27 other things.
Meanwhile, we have to quit our jobs to listen to stuff.
Voice notes late at night is woken Raiden up. So maybe I should just not be on my phone. So I'm gonna just shut the fuck up.
Listen, next time you just tell me and I'll send a soothing, Raiden, you need to go to bed. Aunt Cass told you so. I'm going to sing to you, just deep.
I likes my singing.
Kylie has to sing Raiden the poop song, so he'll go poop.
I don't really have to sing that to him a lot anymore. I have to sing my other songs because he poops pretty regularly now, on the reg. Right now.
He poops frequently.
He definitely farts and sharts, that's for sure.
I was gonna say, is the new song telling him not to shart himself?
Yeah.
No, I don't really care. Even though sometimes it's just like, that was just utterly foul, and I'll go to change his diaper. It's really not that bad, but it sounds so much
it sounds like
me to cut, like he sleeps in our room in his bassinet at night, and me and Dakota will be laying there watching TV, and he's just put, sounds like a fucking battlefield right next to me.
It's great.
Like, I don't know, he was like 2 or 3 months old, and he would just fart for like, I mean, they would just go on for so long, loud, and smell so fucking bad. And it's just like, how does this little thing be so disgusting but cute at the same time?
Well, this went off the rails.
No, I mean, it ties back to parenthood, so
I suppose
it's good. My thing for horror. Well, first of all, poly family update. that shit is wild. Kylie told me about that, and I said that previously, maybe an episode or two ago, or we've like mentioned it. I will tell you, I fully watched some episodes, and I need people who their relationships are not working that think it's a great idea to then televise them to stop doing
Yeah,
that.
they need to fucking stop.
Because this is not a great idea, and you can't be out here saying, hey, this is a great thing, and then literally every single episode I'm waiting for these two dudes to fist fight each other. So I'm gonna need y'all to chill.
Well, they've been together for like 4 years, and I feel like y'all have had like time to like work certain shit out, and shit's not getting worked out.
It's just crazy. It's crazy and it's wild, and it should be a horror documentary in itself. I could totally see this ending up on Snapped. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to predict any of that, but it's just just wild. So, but for me, I just got to catch up on some horror movies this week, and I will say this, we're going to do an episode about this, but I love the Forever Purge, and I'm really excited that they're potentially going to be making another one with Frank Grillo. I just think those are movies that so wildly get hate, but they're just good movies, and they're really kind of a master class on how to talk about things without talking about things, because I think a lot of people like focus on the fact that it's making the statement, like with the whole idea of the purge and everything, but a lot of those movies sneak a lot of deeper themes in and layer them in a way that I think people don't realize that that's how horror started. So, but I love the Forever Purge. I think it's incredible. And I really like Frank Grillo in horror. I watched Werewolves recently.
Werewolves is great.
It was fantastic. And Frank Grillo in horror is just great. I actually have a movie that I will update you next time and let you know, because I plan on watching it this weekend. But I actually have a movie that Frank Grillo did, and it's like The Cult of Marilyn Manson. And it's about the Manson murders, and it's about this like group of people that are trying to bring back Manson. And I ended up getting it on sale like when Big Lots was going out of business, and I was like, it has Frank Grillo, it's horror, I'm gonna invest in this. Like,
he's underrated when it comes to the horror movies. People forget that he's in quite a few of them.
He's in so much, and I feel like people are like, oh, well, it's because he plays the same character. So
fucking well.
Like
he wasn't like the macho type in My Soul to Take.
No, he was not, and he was highly under. My Soul to Take is probably the most atrocious case of like being underrated. Yeah. That movie is incredible for what it is.
Well, it's a great movie.
Oh, it's incredible, and I think it plays with such. There are some movies for Wes Craven that I just feel like don't get talked about.
Well, that's why I did Shocker this week, and I'm doing Serpent and the Rainbow next week.
Yeah, I appreciate that, because Shocker is another big one.
Well, Shocker's great.
And listen, I'm not just saying this because we're circling back to, obviously, you know, a topic that Kylie doesn't like, but I'm not just saying this because Gerard Butler's in it. But
here we go.
But Dracula 2000, I feel like gets a lot of hate that it doesn't really need to. Like, I get it. It's not the most solid movie, but the idea of it and the way that they kind of flipped a lot of that, and especially the fact that it really is like a time capsule for the year 2000. Yeah. Like, let's be honest. And it's also kind of fucking wild, I will say. Today at Braden's last day of school, they played the graduation song, you know, as we go on. And the fact that then that's vitamin C, and then that is vitamin C that's on the fucking ceiling with Gerard Butler in that movie is a little wild. It's also wild that, you know, we're supposedly her and Gerard Butler were like supposedly dated at one point in time. I don't know. That was just like a rumor way back in the day, but I feel like a lot of those movies get slept on, and they just don't like. They just don't get the oomph that they should, and it's sad because, especially like Shocker too, because Shocker is a great one.
Oh yeah, I just rewatched that.
Yeah, Shocker is one that like you're in it the moment you start that movie, and it really just like it keeps going. But I do feel like Frank Grillo does get a lot of like unnecessary hate, but he's in just a lot of like I have his IMDb pulled up here, but like he was in the Skyline movies. He was in Warrior with Tom Hardy. Like he was in a lot of fucking movies. Like, and it's just crazy. Like people are like, oh, well, it's just because he was part of the Marvel. So the movie I was talking about is called The Resurrection of Charles Manson. It is currently on Tubi. And it is the overview is a young couple create an audition tape for an up-and-coming Charles Manson film. However, when they choose an eclectic desert Airbnb as the perfect backdrop, the dark events of the audition material slowly slip into the reality as they find themselves intertwined in an occult leader's sinister plot to bring back Manson.
I have to check this out.
So, but yeah, it's on Tubi. So I'm just like, but I saw it and I was like, hey, that's a good movie. So
Take a peek.
Yeah. So we'll have to update you and let you know. But yeah, just go watch some good movies this summer. You know, there's a ton coming out. Kylie's excited because Hell House Lineage is gonna be out for the summer for Hot Girl Summer. And then sliding in for, Feral Girl Fall. So we got to keep it, spooky. But yeah, there's some really good movies out, movies that are doing well. Sinners comes out on digital next week. Until Dawn is out right now. Final Destination's doing great.
We got the new 28 Years Later coming out.
28 Years Later at the end of June. The Alien TV show for FX is coming on. And that's rolling out. So, I mean, we just got a lot of really good, solid stuff. So go out, have a hot ghoul summer, and watch some good shit. And report back and let us know. So, but to all the spooky dads, whether cat dad, real dad, stepdad, father figure, funky uncle, like whatever. Yep, spooky uncle, like Brewster, apparently.
Drunky uncle.
Drunky uncle.
Uncle Drunky.
But please have a good Father's Day and stay spooky. So until next time, it's me, Cass, and
Kylie.
And we got Brewster. And we're out. And we say Happy Father's Day. Bye.
Bye.